It's time to sink our claws into another release from the folks over at Diamond Select. This is the Diamond Select, the New Batman Adventures Gallery Catwoman statue. Selina Kyle was a wealthy socialite with a fondness for felines, but at night she had another fondness for felonies. In her guise as Catwoman, Selina was a cat burglar stealing jewels and valuables from Gotham City upper crust, until Batman brought her to justice. Ordered to never wear the Catwoman costume again, Selina still awakens her alter ego from time to protect the innocent, help Batman, and maybe even steal something. This PVC diorama of Catwoman is based on her appearance in the New Batman Adventures animated series and is constructed of high-grade vinyl. It's sculpted by Varner Studios. Before we start this review, let's figure out how tall the statue stands. I'm going to go from the base to the top of her whip. Because the figure cannot be removed from her stand, there's no way to display her just on her own anyways. With the stand included and factored into the height, this brings the statue to close to being 11 inches in height. So the base itself is what I could describe as probably being the top of one of Gotham City's buildings. The stylized nature of the design, the construct here, but by the fact that it is almost that brownish color, which is the same similar colors as we see with a lot of Gotham's buildings, I would imagine that she's probably standing on top of a rooftop or at the side area of a roof of one of Gotham's buildings. At the beginning of this review, you may have noticed a little bit of a scuff here. I thought it might have been just glue residual. I took a little bit of a wet cloth, just wiped it away, and sure enough, it cleaned away perfectly fine. So may have just been a little bit of dust or something left when I got this out of packaging. As I mentioned with the height end of it, the figure is permanently affixed to the top of the base. There's no way to remove her. You can see that she's got the support heels holding up her feet as her feet are on their toes rather than on the balls of their feet. It's a nice enough illusion, especially from a distance, as they did use the same color as they did for the base. So it does, from a distance, like I said, make it look as if the statue, at the very least, she is on her tippy toes. I mean, if I could be completely honest, I never have liked the New Batman Adventures Catwoman design. It's simplistic as being the best word I can use to describe it, but I think through its simplicity is one of the things I didn't care for. It seemed as if they almost took elements from perhaps Batman Returns in the way that they designed the Catwoman costume here. Again, not really having any discernible, any details really indicated on the costume. Instead, just given a very black, skin-tight costume as a result. A very drastic change than what we got with the original animated series Catwoman, in which you probably will remember she did have the gray costume rather than the black here. Her costume was not also the only thing that changed when it came to the new Batman designs of Catwoman here. Instead of having her eyes visible, they instead given her completely white eyes, which I felt in some way removed character's personality. You couldn't really see her eyes. You may have gotten the motion and movement of her eyeballs opening and closed, but there was really no, I thought, personality in her face. Also could be said for the fact that she did have a lighter skin tone, which, to the credit of Diamond Select here, presented very nicely here in the statue. Her skin is very pale, almost identical to that of the eyeballs here. It's got a slight, very slight bluish tint happening to it. And Batman, like Batman, I should say, they kept the more stylized design of Catwoman's costume right down to her ears. Very much longer ears. And instead of pointing straight up, instead they point straight out on an angle here. I mean, I'm sure I've gone on record at some point and mentioned the fact that I don't like the Catwoman costume. Still don't to this day. It's one of the weakest of the new Batman Adventures retrofitted new designs. My second least favorite was also Joker, which, again, it almost seemed as if the characters in which they simplified, at least in their designs, were the ones that I didn't end up enjoying. All the other character designs were top-notch. Unfortunately, Catwoman and Joker were just my least favorites. Now, I take nothing away from the statue end of it that Diamond has produced here, because it's a really nice-looking statue. I like the pose, and I especially like, if we spin the statue around here, I do like how she's got the whip, and a very long whip as well, wrapping its way, not necessarily around her body, but at the very least wrapping its way, spiraling its way down her spine, down of course her mid-torso, and down by the leg area. Could you wrap it around her leg? I wouldn't entertain the idea. There is a little bit of give in the whip, but not to the point where I would try to wrap it around anything on her. I feel that that would potentially damage or break the whip right off. Also, to credit Diamond Select, keeping this statue being released in a high-grade vinyl, it also keeps the cost down. This is something that they do in an ongoing trend. They've released statues in resin form, and then they've also released other statue designs here in vinyl. As a result here, if you are looking to get your claws, so to speak, on the new Batman Adventures Gallery Catwoman here, you're at least being able to pick her up at an affordable price. The price point on her would be around a $40 to $50 price point, depending, of course, which comic book stores you may find her at. I don't really know why I like this so much, but I do like this little indication of red on her lips. It breaks up an otherwise pretty much black and white presentation here of Catwoman. Just that little bit of red, surprisingly, goes a long way for me. I'm sure it goes without saying that I didn't really like the design of Catwoman, as I mentioned over the course of this review. Despite that, I think Diamond Select did a pretty good job when it came to the design of at least the form and the way that Catwoman is posed here. I still don't like the design of Catwoman. I find she's overly simplistic, a little too simplistic. The blacks and white treatment that make up the majority of her outfit, at the very least, they could have added a belt, or I really like, for example, the Batman Returns Catwoman, but she had some stitching and stuff to her costume. It wasn't just all black. And I feel like this is where they missed the mark when it came to the design of Catwoman. Same way that they made the big mistake, I think, when they redesigned Joker. Kept it more simplistic, and I think the end result was a more disappointing looking design. That being said, Diamond Select, I do, again, really like the form of this one. She's got a nice flow to her. I like the way that the whip drapes down the back of her. And I think I do like the big expression, the big smile that's on her face. So take it with a grain of salt from this reviewer's opinion. Just because you may not like the design of a character doesn't mean that you still can't be impressed when the company releases a statue based on an otherwise disappointing design. I would say still pick this one up if you're a fan of the new Batman Adventures. Maybe even if you don't like Catwoman, or at least this design, you may still be impressed with what Diamond Select did with this gallery release. Let me know what you guys think down below of Catwoman's design from the new Batman Adventures. Did you like it? Did you like the original gray costume a little bit more? Let me know down below. I always like reading new comments. In the way of this statue, if you are looking to pick this one up for yourself, it should be now available in comic book stores. Today we were having a look at the Diamond Select Gallery statue of the new Batman Adventures Catwoman. Meow. Not as much of a meow, not as much of a resounding meow, but a medium meow. If you guys haven't had a chance to subscribe to this channel, hit that little subscribe button that's just below this video. If you also would like to go and have a look at all the other gallery statues that I've ever done from Diamond Select, would you actually believe there's a playlist on this channel that you can go to and check out and watch those videos at your viewing pleasure. Make sure as well, guys, one last thing. I know in the past videos I've always mentioned to hit that bell just below the videos. That will open up the notifications and you can make yourself fully notified of when new videos from myself or other video content creators on YouTube are going online. Supposedly, that bell feature doesn't always work, and I think now they've changed it where you can set notifications for always remind me or casually remind me. Doesn't really make much sense to me, but one of the workarounds and one of the things I'm going to try to promote more heavily when it comes to these individual reviews is when you're finished this video, make sure you head over to my main page and just scroll down the section that says videos. See if there's anything that you may have missed along the way, and feel free to check out those videos and comment in them. More videos will be coming your way, guys. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.